Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another live stream. I'm not sure if this is streaming over on Facebook. I was having issues because of the time change and everything. But what's up? How's it going? Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Just got the internet set up in this house today, actually. So we're able to cook on a quick little live stream for you guys. My bad on the time for those in Central Time Zone and East Coast Time Zone. Typically, we do these live streams around 7 o'clock Central. Yeah, 7 o'clock Central. I'm like, all right, it's 7 o'clock. I was like, oh, crap. I'm on Mountain Time right now. I'm not in Florida anymore. So what is up, everyone? How's it going, man? Welcome to another live stream. Not that amazing of a backdrop or anything. I'm just in my kitchen right now. And the rest of the house is still a little bit of a mess. But the kitchen is nice and clean. And I'm actually sitting on an ice cold fridge. It's the only somewhat chair that I have in this house right now. But met with a contractor yesterday. Gonna meet with one more contractor, hopefully tomorrow or Friday, just to get multiple bids. The first gentleman was really nice. Told him everything that I wanted to really do with the property. Very hardworking individual as well. And then gonna meet with hopefully one more person just to compare some bids and stuff. But you guys absolutely enjoyed that the content for Arizona. And one thing that I failed to say in that video, and my wife pointed that out to me, was that we are moving to Arizona, but not like permanently. So this is going to be kind of like a half-half situation. We're still going to do stuff in Florida, and we're still going to do stuff in Arizona. Florida will be my main residence just because of tons of tax benefits that I get. There's no state income tax. Even though Arizona's state income tax is relatively low, you get no state income tax in Florida. And with me being a veteran with disability, I don't pay property tax in Florida, where our governor is talking about just eliminating that across the board. But we will see how that goes in the future. We may change some things around here and there, but I did completely fail to say that in the Arizona video. So we plan on being here, on and off, but mainly during the winter time. I know that sounds weird because Florida's supposed to be nice during the winter time, but it freaking snowed at our house last year. So it gets cold where I live in the Panhandle. Arizona during the winter time is freaking perfect, man. So what is up, everyone? How's it going? I just wanted to clear that up real fast. I apologize for that. Legendary is here from Virginia. Thank you, Royal Oak. Glad you can hear me. Cripple Creek, dude, how's it going, man? I'm sorry that it's late where you're at. RC's in here. Mr. Sunjeep, how's it going? John's in here too. What is up, everyone? So the way we do these live streams, we'll do some quick Q&A and everything. And then I also want to dive into that Tundra that was shot by a spy photographer today, because since I made that upload with that video, some people actually pointed out some really good things with that. But we'll answer a few questions first before we get into it. Oh, and with this internet here, this is my first time experiencing fiber optic internet. Holy crap, this is freaking fast. My house in Florida, they just now, my wife said, were marking off the streets and stuff. I guess in the recent HOA meeting, they were talking about bringing the internet, fiber optic internet, into our neighborhood. And I'm freaking pumped because this internet here with over Wi-Fi is like 500 down, 500 up. It keeps going up and down, but it is hopefully crystal clear. So hopefully you guys can hear me well, see me well, and everything will work out. David says, where is the supercharger? I get this question a lot, and I know every single live stream I say it is at Yoda Mafia. We are just trying with my travel, with some of the projects that Yoda Mafia had to get done because, they have big paying clients and stuff with huge projects and everything that they're working on for government work, along with other customers as well. And then they had some, not issues, but just some things that they had to take care of. And then I came to Arizona. So I am hoping that this month, August, we're going to be putting the big brakes on the Tundra and also the supercharger kit on the Tundra. When I fill it up with gas, I only put like half a tank in it just in case Ryan needs to drop the tank to put some extra fuel pump stuff into the tank or whatever he has to do with that truck. So it is very tentative, and I cannot wait to do that. We're gonna put all new fluids in the truck too. I want to get the transmission serviced, the rear end serviced, and while we have that truck up on the lift, I'm gonna take the tires off and the wheels off, really clean them up, get all that surface rust off the truck, make it all nice underneath that, because that truck will most likely be coming out here to Arizona, and it will be an Arizona truck. And I'm not sure, like, I know that I said that I wanted to long travel and do all that stuff with that Tundra, but it may end up being kind of like a tow rig. I'm not 100% sure yet with that Tundra. I did think about selling it, honestly, the other day, but then I washed it, and I washed the truck, and I cleaned the interior, and I looked at it in my garage, and I was like, I can't let this truck go. I know that if I sell this truck, I will be very, very, very upset. So the supercharger is still at Yoda Mafia. It's been there probably for a month and a half. We're just trying to line up a good amount of time for me to be in Florida and for us to work on it, get content, get all the footage that we want to get for both Yoda Mafia side and also my side, to do the whole documentation for you guys. Yes, Rogue, yeah, it's quantum fiber internet. Dude, it's awesome so far. I've had no issues with it. This live stream, if I was at my house, the Wi-Fi bar would be telling me like, hey, it's too low, it's too high, losing connection. It seems to be working great so far, and it looks like this live stream is actually up on Facebook now, which is awesome. Yeah, 2 gigs with quantum. So that's the cool thing with this Wi-Fi too. So I only did the 1 gig just because we're not going to be here all the time. But dude, for 75 bucks, unlimited data, and I'm locked in at that price for life as long as they keep the 1 gig option. Dude, that is absolutely awesome. My internet package with Cox Internet, which is garbage at our house in Florida, is not as fast as this. The download speed is, but the upload speed is only 50 megabits, I think, or maybe it's at 100 megabits, and that's what it's capped out at in our neighborhood. And it's $175 a month. Bro, this internet here is 1,000 down, 1,000 up, 75 bucks. Absolutely awesome with Quantum. And their customer service so far has been really, really good. I saw a couple other questions. Mr. Sunjeep says, hey John, congrats on the house. What car is replacing the Tacoma and Land Cruiser? This house. So no car is replacing the Tacoma and Land Cruiser just yet. We are going to be getting a RAV4 hopefully when that comes in. But aside from that, no new vehicles, at least as of right now, will be joining the garage. John, hey, how's it going, man? Mike says, you have to watch contractors like a hawk out here in Arizona. No journeyman license for employees, only the contractors. Yeah, so that's what I am asking them as well, making sure that they are a legitimate licensed contractor, because there are a lot of people that are not licensed or, you know, documented in Arizona. And I want to make that very apparent with the contractor, especially because if I'm going back to Florida and they're working on stuff here without me, I don't want them to ask for a payment if I don't have eyes on it. So I most likely will be bouncing back and forth for all that stuff. And for everyone joining in, we are still doing stuff in Florida. So I did fail to mention that in the Arizona video, but we will be hopefully trying to do a half life. I failed to mention that when I was talking about the mortgage. So to try out to see if Arizona, and doing the content out here and talking with companies that I work with and hanging out with all these cool people and stuff out here in Arizona, if it works out, this mortgage is way cheaper than buying a big, beautiful house that I want to buy eventually in probably like the Cave Creek area. I really like northern Scottsdale and northern Arizona, like the Cave Creek and New River area. It looks really nice. How's the weather over there? No rust, I believe, for cars. No rust, but your car attacks you, dude. I got in the 4Runner today, and even though it's been hot as crap in Florida recently, like, I mean, I know it's summertime, but we're getting a massive heat wave like through Florida, one that we've really never seen before. Like the feels like my wife said today in Destin was like 106, which is very hot, or maybe that was yesterday, I can't remember. And then Tampa, I mean, that's hitting like 112, 113, which is very, very hot. But I don't know if it's the UV index or what it is here, but stuff burns. Like I remember burning myself like a lot during the summer when I lived here, especially working on the F-16. That is absolutely horrible to work on the flight line here in Arizona, way worse than Florida. But like, I got in the 4Runner today, and the Softex seats, they just like burnt my leg. I was like, ah, shit. Like everything, the sliders on the outside, the steering wheel, everything is just, the sun just amplifies it here. It's crazy. Like Florida's called the Sunshine State. I don't know why. It's stormy and cloudy half of the summer. You know, there's always clouds in the sky there. If Arizona was not considered the Grand Canyon State, 100% this would be the Sunshine State, because the sun shines here way more than any other state. Royal Oak says, do you know which vehicles you are going to keep in which state? Are you going to road trip every time? So that is the difficult thing, because we have our 2 dogs and 2 cats. So like if we came here for a month, I would feel absolutely guilty leaving like the cats at home. So we would have to road trip. The Ram is definitely the most comfortable for us to road trip. We will see how the new RAV4 is road tripping, but that may be really tight. And we are kind of bouncing back and forth between a RAV4 or a Grand Highlander. Not that, you know, we have kids or anything for a Grand Highlander, but that may make the most sense. Maybe we'll try it with the RAV a couple times and then just, you know, get RAV4 content done and see how it is to have a RAV4 for a little bit, and then potentially get a Grand Highlander. The ideal thing, I need to make more money, but the ideal thing is if all this works out, because we love Arizona, not just for like me for YouTube, but like we just, well, I know when my wife comes back out here and we're not kids anymore and she experiences this different kind of state that it has become, and just different areas of the state, ideally it would be nice to have like a Sprinter van or something like that, like a kind of smaller motorhome-esque style one, like with a bed in it and like a little bathroom attached, not, you know, the full kitchen and all that stuff, but kind of like a business Sprinter van, something little diesel that gets like 25 miles a gallon or something like that. That would be really, really cool. I don't need it to be lifted all up like an overland built van. I don't need that. It would just be a nice, comfortable driver from Florida to Arizona and back and forth. As of right now, I think that the 4Runner, the 6th gen, is going to stay out here. And then, like I said, I do want to bring the Tundra out here as well, but I really, really want to bring the Ram out here and go hang out with the guys out in like Borrego Springs and Johnson Valley, and all of that stuff. Yeah, no cold showers during summer. So that is something that is on the docket. I do enjoy cold plunging, so I will definitely need to get a legitimate cold plunge for out here, because I tried to take a cold shower earlier and it's just like, it's lukewarm. Did you move to Arizona? Yes. So we are gonna try and attempt a half-life. So want to really be out here during the fall time and winter, and then we'll be back in Arizona or Florida most likely for the spring and summertime. That's when it's also pretty busy out there for Airbnbs and our rentals and stuff. So it would be nice to be out there when we have a lot of foot traffic through those homes. Mike says, I'm an electrician / inspector, and how people aren't dead from work. Eyewitness. Dude, there's so many crazy people, especially, you know, when people don't pay attention, it's absolutely wild. Yep, reunited with the 6th gen. It's awesome. I definitely missed the vehicle. I posted over on my Instagram. YouTube got rid of stories, which is kind of lame, because it was a good way for you guys to see behind the scenes of what I do like day to day. So I posted over on Instagram and over on Facebook and my stories a lot for that stuff. But getting into the 4Runner after driving the Ram for a month, I know that they're a difference of like 30 grand or like 25 grand on paper for MSRP. But man, the 4Runner has a lot of plastic. Like Toyota's interiors are very, very plain compared to that Ram. It's absolutely crazy. Jacob says, hey John, I can't wait for the wide body Tundra to come out if Toyota decides. I really hope, because I've been watching other people's, other journalists' video talking about that new Tundra, and I really hope that it's not just like a SEMA build. But like Toyota wouldn't have stuff covered up, and you don't really like drive and test out SEMA builds. And we're about to get into the Tundra stuff to where I'm going to show you guys some more things that I noticed that I didn't mention in the video. But I don't think that it's just going to be a SEMA build. Like they're actively testing that truck. So I really hope that they come out with it. Rogue says, I like the AFE Momentum intake. I'm going to add MagnaFlow catback exhaust next. I have a 25 Platinum off-road in Celestial Silver. Ooh, that's good. Yeah, the MagnaFlow exhaust on my Tacoma that I had was good. So I would assume that their Overland series would be very good for the Tundra. And the AFE intake, I definitely enjoyed on my Tundra. Kyle, how's it going, man? Says hello. Spent some time with Yoda Mafia and the boys today. Finished up fluid changes and a few odds and ends. Perfect. We were just talking about Yoda Mafia with the supercharger, bro. So hopefully I'm going to be up there in August. So yeah, getting your Land Cruiser all dialed in. That is awesome. They're good dudes up there. Good dudes. Just they need more workers for how much volume they're doing, man. They're absolutely crushing it, which is awesome. I moved there from Central Oregon 7 long years ago. Couldn't wait to move back. Yeah, it's awesome, man. I like, and I've heard everything about Oregon is absolutely great. Cripple Creek, I'll see you later, man. Eric says, please tell me how I can persuade my wife, or can you please call my wife to tell her we should buy a first gen Tundra. Dude, the first gen Tundra was awesome. It's like the size of the Tacoma, but still a little bit bigger. You have a V8, you have a full size bed. You could get them relatively cheap as well, and they're such reliable engines. And then David says, let's see more about this Tundra. So we'll get into some more Q&As later. We're only gonna do about an hour on this live stream. I failed to realize that 7 o'clock is when I typically do live streams on Central Time, where I live in Florida, and it's now 9:30 there. So, and of course, some of my viewers in the East Coast, yeah, it's pretty late. So let's go ahead, get into this, because I want to show you guys some things that I just failed to notice last time. So I'm going to go ahead and look at these photos. So starting out first, it's wide. I know I mentioned this in the initial video of the Tundra, but this thing is just so much wider than the normal TRD Pro over here. So the test mule that they're using is a limited Tundra, as we saw like on the door right here. And that's what the TRD Pro is based off of. It's based off a limited trim. So that is what they are using. But Toyota could also be maybe trying to like confuse people a little bit, right? Because I really think if they're gonna go balls to the walls to compete with Ram and the Ford Raptor, they need to build whatever this truck is gonna be called off of the Platinum. They need to give it all the nice luxury features, the leather seats, the pano moonroof, the massaging seats, like all the features. Because if Toyota is gonna charge $85,000, $90,000 for whatever this truck's gonna be, it needs to have everything, honestly. As much as I hate to say a $90,000 to whatever $1,000 Tundra, and that's before we talk about the powertrain, it has to, the interior has to match, because the current TRD Pro, obviously compared to the RHO and the Raptor, is not even in the same league. And even when the TRD Pro is compared to like the Ford Tremor or a very well-equipped Chevy ZR2, it kind of does fall behind a little bit as well, especially with a lot of the plastics that the Tundra TRD Pro has. And I just really hope that Toyota recognizes that, right? And just gives us a very nice interior. So one thing that I failed to mention, I talked about this. So I talked about the fender flares, right? How they look different. However, do you see all of these little dots? You guys can see my cursor, I think, on the screen as well. You see all these little dots? Those are scanning dots. So when I was at the SEMA garage for the Forerunner scanning event, I showcased multiple engineers and people that companies that were scanning for products on that vehicle. Every single one of them put dots all over the truck. So what they do is they take a scanning tool and they scan it all out, and then they have a 3D representation of the physical part basically in the computer. So all these little dots, it's up there and it's also on the front fender. You guys can see all these little dots. So that could be used potentially for computer programming for aerodynamics. It could be used for different part molds. It could be used for a lot of different things. So this is also, I had some comments of people saying, hey, John, that's AI. No, it's not, because AI can't even get freaking license plates right. This is a manufacturer plate. I also had people commenting saying that that's just some dude's Tundra that he just wrapped. No, it's not. There's legitimate Michigan manufacturing plates. That's Toyota. They do all their stuff through Michigan dealer plates up in Ann Arbor. So this truck is actively being like scanned and tested and all that good stuff. As we come to the front, this picture is very, very blurry. The spy photographer, unfortunately, was not able to get a clear picture of it. I didn't want to rant in the video, but I hate this front bumper. I think that this is ugly. I do not like it. I know that this is going to be a crap ton of ground clearance right here. As I zoom in, it's just going to get even worse with the pixelation. But I don't like this at all. I really hope that if this truck does come to production, that this looks more just like a truck. Maybe it's built in better. Maybe they're going to have to crash test this truck or something, and they're going to do a full metal front bumper, kind of like the Ram RHO, but it just needs to integrate a little more, I feel, with it. Another thing too is in this photo right here, the front tire, and it may just be the angle of the photo, the front tire looks so much bigger than the rear tire. And at the same time, Toyota could be testing 35s in the back and 37s maybe up front for clearance. And if they keep this truck in two-wheel drive, that's not really an issue, right? If this truck was in four-wheel drive mode, or if it was an full-time four-wheel drive truck, you can't really change tire ratios from the front and the back. So this photo really made it look like they were bigger tires up front versus on the back. As we zoom in more on this photo, I did mention that it looked like the truck had different lower control arms, and we can really see that in this photo. These are very, very beefy lower control arms, which does kind of allude to a completely different suspension setup. Hopefully this thing does not have atrocious turning radius, because the current Tundra TRD Pro's turning radius is garbage. So hopefully with whatever suspension setup, I really, really hope that it's live valve suspension for this truck. Hopefully with whatever they're reworking the front of this thing, it actually gets pretty decent suspension. Also in one of these photos of this back of it, no, we got the panhard bar. I do like this metal rear bumper. There's no step integrated into it, which is, again, a bummer, but I'm sure that there'll be like a manual step or something that you could get from Toyota or aftermarket. But where the heck is that side photo of this truck for the trailing arms? I don't see it with what I have right here. But one of the photos, you were able to see billet trailing arms too. So the trailing arms, because it's a multi-link rear suspension, that's why we have this panhard bar also right here. So with those trailing arms being beefed up and also billet, that's one thing that I failed to mention in my video. I think that it is definitely going to be some sort of long travel suspension. Now let's talk about engines. Because the normal TRD Pro is just the iForce Max, right? 583, I believe, foot-pounds of torque, which is more than the Ram RHO. And if Toyota just makes this to be just a Raptor and a Ram RHO competitor, really all they have to do is just bump up the horsepower numbers a little bit. So on paper, it's on par with those trucks. The iForce Max is very, very powerful, but I do see Toyota in the future coming out with some sort of plug-in hybrid version of the Tundra. And when they do plug-in hybrids, it's not going to be the nickel metal hydride batteries anymore. It's going to be lithium. And a lot of lithium batteries compared to those nickel metal hydride, you're going to get a lot of power out of it. So hopefully, maybe it's a reworked hybrid system, or with the lax EPA standards, with the Trump administration, maybe Toyota will put a V8 in this, derived from Lexus. That would be crazy if they take the 5.0 from Lexus, that V8, maybe slap turbos on it, but who knows. But if they attach it to the hybrid system, we could have a little rocket ship here. And it would be a V8. It would shut everyone up that wants a V8 in the Tundra. And maybe they just put it in this model. Or maybe they put it in this model and then the following year it could be in the Capstone or the Platinum. I don't know. But maybe they test the waters a little bit with this truck to see the response and what everyone really wants with it. And then if, EPA standards stay lax with the next administration, maybe a V8 stays. Who knows? But the V6, I know that Toyota put a ton of R&D into that truck, which is why it is a little frustrating that they are having issues with that engine. Not a lot of 25 models. I think there's still only been one, maybe two 25s that had the issue, but they seem to have fixed it. But if this truck had a 5.0 from Lexus in it, as well as a Platinum interior, that would be crazy. So that's my rant on that truck, guys. We'll do the last about 15 minutes or so with some Q&A if you guys want. So whatever questions you guys have, go ahead and throw them into the comments. But Veronica's like, bring on the V8. It would be awesome. If Ryan Gregg confirms it, I'll believe it. Yeah, that would be cool. It would be very, very cool. Did Toyota build the frame up? We know people will jump it like we saw the V-shaped Raptors. Hopefully, I mean, their new frames that they put on these trucks with them being fully boxed and not C-channel frames are very rigid. They're very tough. And with the suspension on it too, if they do, because I mean, like, think about it, right? The isodynamic seats, they're putting it in for 2026 models as an option, which will be nice on the inside of the truck. But if they also adopt the hydraulic bump stops like the Tacoma TRD Pro does, if they just skip the QS3 shocks where you have to manually adjust them and just go straight to live valve with this truck, that'd be awesome. So Toyota is always very, very slow to adopt something because they do want it to hopefully be, great with no issues, to maintain that reliability that they've been known for in the past. Not so much right now because they're just changing all their vehicles. And with change, unfortunately, comes a lot of issues. But the Tundra was definitely not the start that Toyota wanted for this new generation of vehicles. Luckily, the Tacoma, for the most part, has been pretty decent. The Land Cruiser has been very decent. And the 4Runner as well has been very decent, except for, the brake TSB and a couple other, fit and finish things for the vehicle. Yes, it does have tow hooks up front in the bumper as well. Good eye on that. It kind of does remind us a little bit of the first gen Raptor for sure. And I don't think that it is a SEMA build just because they're actively driving it. The Trail Hunter we didn't see driving around. Some of the 4Runner Surf we didn't see driving around. Some of these the X-Runner Tacoma we didn't see driving around. So I don't know. Later, Kyle. Have a great night, man. So I don't really think that this is a SEMA build because that would just be kind of ridiculous. Even the Toyota Desert Chaser Tundra that they did a couple years ago, that wasn't seen driving around either. It was just, hey, here it is at SEMA. Toyota will never compete with the RHO or the Raptor. It will have less horsepower, less features, and worse suspension, and will have a higher price tag with dealer markups. It's just the Toyota way. I hope not. I have big hopes for this truck. And if we're let down, we're let down, right? But I really do hope that Toyota gives us a legit truck out of the box. Because to be honest, even though the Tacoma is more expensive than the Ranger Raptor, it still does hold its own, better than just a TRD off-road would, right? So, I mean, it does hold its own. On paper still, and drivability-wise, from what I've seen from journalists, the Ranger Raptor is still better than the Tacoma TRD Pro. However, the Tacoma TRD Pro is giving you more options standard with it. Moonroof, heated ventilated seats, right? The power tailgate, bigger inverter, doesn't need to run on premium gas, the steel bumpers. So Toyota does give you more options with that do drive the price up. I am curious how much the Ranger Raptor may go up, like with the next model year, if eventually the Ranger Raptor will get close to the Tacoma price. But then, you know, the GM twins of that, for their high end, the Colorado and the Canyon, they're pretty much the same price as the Tacoma, even though you do get 35-inch tires and stuff with them and live valve suspension. So we'll just have to see. We will just have to see. Gamer Gregor says that I have a 23 Access Cab 3.4 V6 automatic transmission with only 129,000 miles. That thing is just getting broken in. That is one of the best V6s that Toyota has ever made. Keith says, have a 24 GX550 Overtrail in earth color. Would you do an event trade, or would you do an even trade for a Sequoia TRD Pro in Wavemaker? Depends on how many miles are on that GX, but I feel like the GX will hold its value still compared to the Sequoia, but the Sequoia TRD Pro also holds its value pretty well compared to the other TRD Pros out there, just because they don't make as many. So I think that that's a pretty good trade, honestly, especially depending on how many miles you have on it, Keith. And because the Sequoia TRD Pro, you know, that's a $80,000 vehicle, and whereas the GX Overtrail was 80 plus. But I mean, if you've thrown miles on it and it's an even trade, I personally think that that would be good. I think that the GX is a better vehicle than the Sequoia, but if you need room, then the Sequoia is clearly better than the GX for room, at least in the front two seats. Dias says those extra options are not worth the extra 10K though, or 15K extra if you include markups. Here's the thing with markups though, is like, you don't have to pay them, right? Like all these greedy dealers, there's plenty of dealerships out there that I've seen on Facebook that are offering TRD Pros at MSRP, and some are like $1,000 to $2,000 under MSRP. So like, if people are still, and this isn't like a dig at you at all, if people are still paying over MSRP, they're just lazy and they're not shopping around, or they have the money and their time to shop around isn't worth it and they just pay over MSRP. But they're like, the world we live in right now with the automotive market, there's no reason anything should be over MSRP. Even these Ford Ranger or the Ford Raptor Rs, like people are still paying 10 to 15K over MSRP for them. But they were like $40,000 over MSRP. But that may stop when the Ram TRX comes back out, and whatever this Toyota is going to be, that may kind of, you know, now that there's more competition, that may stop those over MSRPs as well. Approximately how long is the labor for the TSB for the brake squeal? I'm not sure, but from what I've seen on Facebook that people have gotten it done, they said it only took a couple hours. So I would assume, I mean, a quick brake job, 1 to 2 hours, maybe. Depends on how backed up the dealership is as well. Can't wait to see more content on their RHO. I'm loving mine so far. Traded my 23 Raptor in for it and couldn't be happier. That is awesome. The next big thing that we're doing, I got exhaust coming for the RHO. The wheels are coming for it. I already have new tires for it as well. What else? I got a bed cover coming for it, some miscellaneous items from Charvonia Designs for it to put on. Screen Protect has a screen protector for it as well that I have to put on. So the RHO is great so far. I mean, I do hate the little electrical gremlins that I'm having with it and some minor issues with that truck. But like, the interior is just so comfortable and it's so nice, and I don't know why. Like, it doesn't seem fair because like I was so critical with the Tundras, but I guess it's just because like what I paid for those trucks and what they had to offer, it still wasn't incredibly amazing, if this makes sense. But like, and then you have issues on top of that with the trucks, or they just feel like, not that they're falling apart, but like the more I drive the truck, the more issues I find with it. At least this Ram RHO, hey, here's all the issues right away. So hopefully they get fixed and they'll be good. I'm going with the Paragon bed cover for the RHO. So I did one on my Tundra, but Paragon has since come out with a new bed cover that doesn't fold into the bed of the truck. It's kind of like a folding platform, and you could slide it or you could just easily take it off, and you could put weight on top of it, which is nice. So if you want to put a cooler on top, or you want to put bikes up top and ratchet strap them down, you could do that, and it seems very, very beefy. So we're going with the Paragon bed cover on the RHO. CO3G says loving his RHO as well. Can't imagine Toyota is committed enough to the sports truck segment to win this segment. I don't know if they're going to go to win the segment. You know, just like the Tundra, it's not meant to be the best selling truck because that's the F-150, right? So I don't know if they're trying to win this segment or if they're just trying to make a big splash to get some sort of ownership of the segment, if that makes sense. Gamer says, I have a question. How are the seats in the TRD Pro you have driven compared to your Platinum? Are they as comfortable as the Platinum? They're both just okay. For some reason, I think the SR5 Tundra that I had, those seats were probably the most comfortable. The Platinum was good for long road trips. It was a little bit stiff. I would probably rank it SR5, TRD Pro, and then Platinum comfort for the seats. I'm just making sure that I didn't miss anyone's questions so far. Yeah. Joe says, got a Mudbath 4Runner Pro arriving in a week or so. How do you think I'm going to love it coming from multiple 5th Gen Pros? So the nice thing about the new 6th Gen 4Runner Pro is the interior. Like, you actually get the soft touch materials everywhere, whereas my 4Runner, the TRD Off-Road, there's a little bit more plastic than I would like. You're going to love the powertrain. Even though it's a little 4-cylinder, you're going to absolutely love the powertrain, especially coming from the 5th Gen. You're going to enjoy driving it. That is for darn sure. Someone says, I traded my Tacoma TRD Off-Road 2018 for a Tundra Limited Crew Max for $29,000. You think that was a good deal? I think so, especially depending on how many miles were on that 2018. About 30 grand, that's pretty solid, because if you paid 40 for it, 7 years ago, and it only dropped $10,000, and you racked up, 7 years ago, averaged 10,000 miles a year. If you had around 70,000 miles on that truck, I think that's pretty good. The name of the company, James, is called Screen Protect. So they've been a sponsor of the channel for a while, and they're going to continue to be a sponsor for it, which is awesome. So they have an anti-glare one that I'm going to put on, and I believe they sent me an anti-glare as well for the passenger screen, because one of the biggest issues with that passenger screen, if my wife was to use it, is there's a lot of reflection that comes in from the windows. So we're going to be putting that on it. Also, add windshield protection to your insurance out there. It's only time before Rock nails it. Yeah, so with Florida, because Florida is still my home of record, or home of residence, right? My state. The cars are still insured through Florida. So even though they're living out here, like, they could easily go back there or whatever, but you get one free windshield replacement in Florida per year, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to keep the vehicles registered under a Florida policy. Hopefully that's okay. Better to beg for forgiveness than, I guess, ask for permission, but which is kind of like ask backwards, right? Because we don't have all the rocks and stuff in Florida where you do here in Arizona, but you have to pay to get the windshield protection here in Arizona, which makes sense, because if insurance companies offered a free windshield every year, they'd be losing a lot of money out here in Arizona. But yeah, they're still under a Florida policy, and I get a free windshield every year with the Florida policy. Royal Oak says, I mentioned last time that I was going off-roading in Point Washington and Santa Rosa Beach. Sent it too hard into some mud and got stuck, but still lots of fun. Yeah, so that's the crazy thing in Florida, man, is like that mud will sink you, especially out there with that sand and everything. It looks like, oh, it's just flat, I'll just go through it. It'll sink you, especially if you were north of 98, like where all those pole lines and stuff are. That mud gets deep up there. Gamer says, I want a Platinum with a 6.5 foot bed in mag gray. That's literally, yep, like mine was. But I don't know if I want to lift it. I may not with 17 miles per gallon. I want 20. And I love the fake V8 noise. Yes, we all don't like the V8 noise. Yeah, I hated the V8 noise. I mean, it was just overpowering for the truck. And then when I put the intakes in it, I would just much rather have heard the turbos over the fake V8 noise. But yeah, I mean, when I lifted mine, I was averaging probably around 16-ish miles per gallon with it after the computer calibration. It looked great. It looks so good. That was probably one of my favorite looking trucks that I had, was my Mag Gray lifted up like that. It looked really, really good. Verac says, I'll be getting the OTT tune on my 22 4Runner. Dude, you're going to love it. I just had a friend that DM'd me saying that he was going to get his 4Runner tuned. He's like, you make me spend too much money, John. I said, I'm sorry, but you're going to enjoy it. He went with, I believe, mild throttle response, and he says he loves it. He's like, I can't believe I finally have a 6-cylinder vehicle, just because the 5th gen 4Runner, for how rock solid it is very sluggish, and the OTT tune, that wakes that vehicle up, man. It is so good. Do you have any mods planned for the RHO? Yes, wheels and tires, exhaust from AWE. The Paragon bed cover is going to be going on, some stuff from Charvonia, and the screen protectors from Screen Protect we're going to be putting on the truck when I get back home. I don't think that I'm waiting on anything else. We did land a deal with Quadlocks, so I'm going to be showcasing some of Quadlocks products that I'll be putting into that. Oh, and there's some cool Amazon goodies for the Ram RHO, storage options and stuff that I'll be putting onto the truck as well. Pietro said, hey John, I scheduled my appointment to check my 4Runner brakes on my 6th gen. Do I have to tell the service department the TSB? You shouldn't have to if you were able to set up the appointment, but it still does help to have that TSB number, just because this is so fresh. If you're in kind of like a smaller town that, the dealership may not have encountered one of these TSBs yet, then it's good just to have that just in case. So, but I am all caught up on the live stream, guys. And since I'm sitting on my fridge, I can get a drink. Because even though I'm used to the heat in Florida, this dry heat is just taking it out of me. I think it's because I sweat so much more in Florida, to where I'm drinking more water. Whereas here you don't sweat, but you're hot and you're just like, oh gosh, I'm dehydrated. But this is like a little coconut. Oh crap, I didn't shake it. This is like a little coconut water organic thing with like some fruit in it, some mango clementine. Oh my god, this is so good. And the crazy thing is too, it's like I feel like I'm living like a bachelor right now without my wife, and like I miss my dogs and cats and my wife and stuff, but like I've only had one meal a day here, just because I don't feel like cooking in this kitchen. And the pots and pans that my wife ordered, like I don't want to clean them and dirty them up and then, clean them again and put them in the pantry. And then the contractor comes and busts up all the tile and stuff gets all dusty. So like I've only had one meal a day out here. I don't have any ice in the fridge because I cleaned the fridge and I didn't plug it in. So I had keto tacos last night, which was cheese tortilla basically, and they burnt like the cheese on the tortilla with the carne asada and the pollo asada. Oh my freaking god, it was so good. So good. I can't wait to get back home though and like get back on like pure carnivore diet, because like mental clarity from just eating food that I don't have in Florida definitely is throwing me off my game a little bit, that is for sure. Colin says, hey John, I've got a 3rd gen Tacoma and I'm looking to trade in for a new SR5 Tundra here soon. Dude, so much space in that Tundra, and also the power is going to be good. Yeah, drink water here. I think I drank my half gallon already plus some, and then I've had 2 of these today. So I'm pretty close to a gallon of fluids, but I still I feel hot. In the house right now, it's set at, I think I set it at 80, which is weird because if my house in Florida was set at 80, it would be disgusting. We set that house during the day at 75 during the summertime, and then at night I bump it down to like 71, 72. Here, because I don't know how the utilities is going to work here, like price wise. It's only a 1,300 square foot house, but like during the day, because I've been running around and stuff, I put the AC to 80, and then at night I've been putting it down to like 74, 75, and it seems to be comfortable. Like I actually pulled the blankets up like over me and turned up the AC last night, I think up to 76 or so. But it's just different here. Like you can run the AC a little higher here than you can in Florida, because in Florida you have to cut through the humidity a little bit. So it is, and then the plan that I have from 4 to 7 is like peak. So I don't want to like try to cool off the house from 4 to 7. But now that it's technically 8 o'clock here, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the AC down when I'm done with the live stream, which we will be going for another 10-ish minutes or so to give you guys a full hour. Again, I apologize that it's late in the East Coast and Central Time. I started at 7. I was like, I always do my live streams at 7, but I forgot that I was 2 hours behind from Florida right now. How long are you here in Arizona? I go back to Florida on Monday. So I'll be going back to Florida on Monday. You're not missing anything here in Florida. It's so hot. Dude, I know. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, I mean, what was the Panhandle the other day? Like 106, 107 feels like, which I think is the stupidest thing too. Like talking about the weather. Like, don't tell me it's 92 degrees outside and the feels like is 106. Just tell me it's 106. Like, if that's what it feels like, that's what the temperature is. I've never understood that. If there's some meteorologist in the comments that can tell us the difference between the actual temperature but feels like, which is technically the actual, then let me know. It's a dry heat, but at 115. Bro, so I used to think that dry heat was better. Dry cold is better than wet cold, 100%. But, because I mean, I lived here for 4 years, I think. Three or 4 years. Yeah, 3 or 4 years I lived in Arizona. And, like, it was hot, but it wasn't, unbearable. But after living where I live in Florida, like, I would much rather have humidity, because when the wind blows, like, yeah, you sweat, but like when the wind blows, it's nice and cool a little bit. In the shade, it actually feels cool as well. And I mean, we're lucky, so we are close to the beach. So we always get a nice breeze at our house. Here, when the wind blows, it's like a hair dryer. So, and there's no escaping it. And like I said earlier in the live stream, everything I touch burns me, man. Like, it's crazy. And I was stupid because, like, I've left my laptop in my 4Runner a couple times because I've had to go to the coffee shop, do some work, this and that, back and forth. And the laptop shuts itself off because it cooks inside the vehicle. And it does not get that hot in Florida for touching things and your vehicle itself. Like, I feel so bad for the 4Runner when I leave it outside because I feel like it's just melting, it's hot. I would much like it. It's no joke, man. It is very, very warm. Mountain time is the best time. I 100% agree with that, bro. Especially too in Arizona, it doesn't change time, which is nice as well. So there's no daylight savings or this and that here. I mean, the sun rises at 6:30. It sets at like 7:30. Dude, it's awesome. Like, I love it. We are not, so I did fail to mention this in my video. We are not moving here full time, but it is going to be a half kind of life, part-time here, part-time in Florida. And I was thinking about Tampa, and I know I've told you guys that many a times, but the more that I thought about it, the main thing with Tampa was to get a lot of press vehicles from Toyota and Lexus. But I would rather use my vehicles and explore and do more things with friends and build a different kind of community than just review like Toyota vehicles. I could go to the dealership here and review a crap ton of vehicles, right? I just tell them what my YouTube channel is, show them the followers, and any dealership would be like, yes, go review all of our cars and shout out at our dealership. So that is the plan for that. We already had a house here. The tenant moved out. It was so much easier to just do that than move to Tampa. As much as I do really love Tampa, it's a beautiful city. Tampa to me is like, it's everything that Phoenix is, but on the beach. You have all the sports teams, all the food, all the communities, the infrastructure to an extent. Like, you still have to, drive around water and all that stuff. Whereas here in Phoenix, like, the infrastructure of the highways, the road systems, even though their roads are very bouncy here because of the weather, but like, just everything about Phoenix makes sense. And I do love Arizona, and I do love the West Coast. So I do still want to get something in Tampa, whether it's like a condo or a townhouse or something. But I think when we put an offer in on a house in Tampa and it didn't go through, not that we kind of like gave up, but I don't know. It was just, it's a sign that it may have been meant to be to just do something else with it. All right, I'm gonna rapid fire through some questions because you guys are actually doing quite a bit real quick. So Roy Logue says, did you have a break-in period for the 4Runner? I hit 2,000 miles, my MPG went up. So I noticed that as well, like after around 1,000 miles or so, it was starting to go up. I think the break-in period is around 1,000 miles for it. The owner's manual actually says something. Trueborn, what is up, man? How's it going? John, you need a Nissan Frontier. It's the last naturally aspirated V6 that's reliable. I personally, bro, don't like the Nissan Frontier, and it just feels like a third-gen Tacoma to me. So, like, if I was to do a V6 again, I'd probably just, honestly, I would get a second-gen Tacoma with the 4-cylinder if I wanted to go back that route. But the new 4-cylinders, they just drive so good. Like in the new Tacomas, they drive so good. Do you know if there's a service department? Do you know if the service department has all the parts available for the TSB? I'm not 100% sure. So that is why if you are able to call the service department and say, hey, I have a 4Runner for this TSB, do you guys have all the parts? They should be able to tell you yes or no. Josh says 77 during the day and 72 at night. Oh, wow. So in all fairness, our AC unit at this house, I believe, is original, which is crazy. So it's been going for, there's no way. It's a 24-year-old air conditioning unit here in Arizona. We may need a new one soon. But I'm sure if we got a better high efficiency one, like a modern air conditioning unit, then I would probably keep the house a little cooler because it wouldn't have to work as hard. And it's a little loud too, this AC unit. So I am curious if we're gonna have to put a new AC unit in this house eventually. Spacer lifts are fine. I'd go more for the pre-collar lift versus like a top hat lift for it, like from Westcott Designs for the Tundra. But on a budget, they're actually pretty decent. Full suspension lift is always a better option for ride comfort and performance. But if the budget allows, a simple pre-collar kit is definitely the way to go. Whenever someone asks you what you do for a living, what do you say? I tell them that I'm into real estate and that I also am an automotive journalist, because that is a little bit more relatable than saying I do YouTube. But at the same time, social media and being a YouTuber is actually being more mainstream, I guess, because there's a lot of social media influencers out there now. So that's becoming more of a thing, right? Like, remember when gaming, right? All the kids, like, I guess my age, when gaming really started to become popular, they're like, I want to be a professional gamer. And moms and dads were like, no, that's not a real job. Now there's gamers streaming, they're making millions of dollars a month. And I mean, it's just the new age, like with the internet and stuff. So I typically tell them if they're older, I would say I do automotive journalism and like car reviews and stuff, and then also real estate. And then if it's a younger person, like, you know, around my age or a little bit older or obviously younger, I just tell them that I do social media basically, or that I do YouTube. I already answered Colin's question. Mountain Time's the best. What's the plan over in Arizona? Are you thinking about picking up more? Yes. So basically this house is very cheap. Whatever, I'm going to say that. It's very cheap compared to buying a new house. So we're using it as a test mule. The house needs to get renovated anyways. So we're using it as a test mule to see how much we come back out to Arizona, how much, for me, it values my stuff here, how much my wife enjoys it. So we're using it as a test mule. The house, regardless, has to get renovated. So we're going to renovate it for the next tenants, just because I feel guilty charging what we charge for rent when the house actually looks like this. I'd be pretty upset. So, and not that it's bad, it's just like it needs some sprucing up. The bathrooms are 24 years old. The vanities are old. The kitchen was remodeled, which is nice, which is what made my wife like this house, 10, 11 years ago. But it needs some sprucing up regardless. So basically, in a perfect world, the plan is that everything works out for the West Coast. It's easy for us to go from Florida to Arizona all the time, right? And then we rent this house out maybe a year or so, a year and a half, and then buy another property out here. There is a bigger plan for real estate in Arizona that I have talked to several people about, and just trying to get investors and certain things going on for that. And that is something that I would really like to share in the future if it does end up working out. But I want to keep it kind of on the down low, just because if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But at the same time, it's something that could be really, really freaking big. So, but yeah, no, more properties out here. It would be potentially cool too to like do some flip properties, because I know there are a ton of older homes out here and stuff. So if I find the right contractor to do this place and they're very fair, maybe use them as a contractor for flips and stuff. So that'd be cool too. Last summer was brutal, 100 plus days over 115. Yeah, so that's another thing too, is like I'm hot here right now, but to every Arizona person that I've talked to that experienced last year's summer has said that this is, you know, a cooler summer, which I get, because I remember when I was working on the flight line in August, dude, and there was like 120 plus days, you know? It was hot, so hot. Oh, Breeze up in here. It says it's 86 here right now, but the feels like it's still 99. See, this is what I'm talking about. It should just be 99, you know? Not 100, or not 86 feels like. It doesn't matter. So dumb. Imagine your RHO armrest badge after, okay, 100%, Jaime. So that is the main thing in that truck that has burnt me. So if the seats in the 4Runner burnt me, but they don't burn me in the RHO in Arizona or in Florida, that center badge and that RHO would most likely give me like some degree burn on my arm, because I have touched it several times and it is hot. It is so hot. We're on Pacific time right now in Arizona. Yes, technically we are, because it does not change, and the Pacific time springs forward while Arizona stays the same. And then in fall, California and everything is an hour behind technically, yes. I do like quesadillas. I prefer burritos, but I do like quesadillas. But if I'm going to do a quesadilla, it has to be like pressed. Like I just don't want it folded over. I want it like kind of like panini pressed, so it has like a nice crunch to it. Bree says, don't you dare jinx us on that AC. I just had to deal with another AC issue for the oh shit. What are you talking about? One of ours? You didn't text me. That's gonna suck. But no, this AC unit's 24 years old. Like if it's legit from when this house was built, that AC unit, unless this house was 2023, I can't remember what year this house was, but that's 24 years old. Like that's well past. I'm trying not to jinx it. I'm moving from Tampa to Arizona as well. Yeah, so I mean, when you get here, you'll know what I mean, unless you've been here before. But like Tampa is literally like Phoenix, but with water. I mean, you have everything that you want out there, man. I live in Tampa and have you ever heard of Rome Overland Outfitters in Tampa? Gotta come check us out. I have, yes. I believe I've talked with Rome on Instagram a few times, I think. Colin? I'm on the flight line right now, and it's been over 100 degrees for the past month. Bro, that's so bad. Yeah, I mean, so F-35s probably then, if you're here? Yeah, that's like when my least favorite thing was when a jet was not under the sunshade, which you guys are F-35s. You have all the freaking sunshades, right? And you had to get inside the cockpit of the F-16, and like the only way to do that is put your hands on it to shimmy yourself in. Dude, brutal to try to get in that cockpit. My brother has a 2022 Ram Limited with the Arizona heat car, tells him 108. So that is one thing that I've noticed with the Ram, is that the thermostat in that truck is way off. Like it sometimes says that it's 120 plus outside in Florida. That's wild for it to say 186, the townhouse. Great. That's cool. It's fine now. Wonderful. Awesome. That's good. Brand new AC unit. My brother, oh, you already said that one. Fabian says, just got the 4Runner Limited. Do you experience any subtle vibrating when accelerating? It's very subtle, but noticeable, around 800 miles, and MPG is 18.4 at the moment. Oof. Hoping it goes up soon. I would try resetting it. Just hold and reset it, because idle time will kill your average MPG of the vehicle. I never noticed any vibration on mine when accelerating. Sometimes like the transmission can be a little clunky when it's trying to learn itself a little bit, but I never noticed any vibration. If that keeps up, definitely go to the dealership about that. I was Air Force for 9 years. Yes, I was. I was here in Arizona, and then Korea, and then Florida, and then I got out basically like during COVID timeframe. Over half the engineers I work with started on the flight line in the Air Force. They're insanely smart. Taught me more than all the school I've done, so kudos to you. Yeah, I mean, I would be rusty for sure right now, but it definitely helped me more with my mechanical, my thought process, blind, trying to put stuff into something, you know, like the avionics bay, shooting wires, splicing wires, all that stuff. So it definitely helped me out, reading schematics for the most part. So it definitely helped me out. I mean, dude, public school, I don't know, like they don't teach you all the right stuff in public school. And also with a lot of the baby boomers, you know, retiring soon, a lot of them are going to be retiring in the next decade. Like all those on the job jobs, I feel like are going to be way more important personally than like a lot of schooling is, like college and all that stuff. Personally, that's just me from doing, like going to college for 2 years, absolutely hating it, going into the military, didn't realize that the Air Force was also schooling at the same time. But it's just a lot of the on the job stuff is just, it's so important, you know? And then the people you meet and the opportunities that you get is so worth it, in my opinion. I might have missed it, but was that rumored Tundra in cement? It looked like celestial silver in the photos. So I think this is just celestial silver metallic, unless that is cement in certain light, but it looks more like the celestial silver. If Toyota, like if that is cement, that just flew over everyone's radar. But it does look like celestial silver metallic. Oh, F-18s in California, not the beach though, obviously, bro, because it's hot where you're at. So many errands. Yeah, definitely. That's crazy. Yeah, so that's still hot out there in that desert. Angel said, that's dope, bro. I'm Army. I was in Korea for a year, Hawaii for 3. That's awesome. And I re-enlisted to come back to Arizona. I get out there next year. Heck yeah, dude. That's awesome. Man, to go to Hawaii, that is cool on the government's dime. Bro, that is so sick. All right. Well, we've been on for about an hour. I know it's getting late for the East Coast people and Central Coast or Central Time Zone people. So I appreciate everyone coming out. One last question came in from Bourne. What are they doing? Just building out a Tundra like most people and seeing the most efficient build sell on the, or most efficient build to sell on the floor? I think so. Kind of like the Trail Hunter, right? Giving people a little bit what they would do in the first place, but still kind of leaving a canvas. And that could be the way too. Maybe they're, giving people a truck that's almost there, and you could do a little bit more to it if you want. Even the Raptors, Raptor out of the box, the RHO out of the box, dude, you don't have to do anything to it. You don't have to do anything to it. But like people still modify it, right? So I think that this truck will be like 90, if it's everything that we want, I think it'll be like 90% there. And then it still leaves owners to do what they want with it. So guys, it was a very spontaneous live stream. Finally got internet working. This live stream did not dip out once, which is freaking incredible. That is so nice to have actual good internet. I appreciate you all watching and for the support over this last week. I will catch you guys in the next one. All right, guys, see you later.